Hello, this presentation is called Character Strengths, what they are, why they are important, and how we form them. So first, what are character strengths? Well, there's two words there, character and strengths. So the first word's character. What's character? Character is the habitual way, the way we normally respond to the opportunities and challenges in our lives. So character strengths are those habits, those ways of responding that are good, that are strong, that help us live our lives well and lead to good outcomes, that help us get through our challenges and rise to the occasion of our opportunities. Or put more simply, character strengths are our habits that help us to live well. Well, how do we know what these are? Well, character strengths have been studied for almost half a century now within the discipline of positive psychology. They are strengths that are found in cultures all around the globe. So they're not just values some cultures have, they're values that seem necessary to have for cultures and civilizations to exist over time. So character strengths are a need of being human. So it may help to talk about some examples of character strengths. There are dozens of them, but just to name some so we have in mind like what these are like: bravery, gratitude, curiosity, perspective, forgiveness, fairness, judgment, perseverance. Just try to imagine having these strengths in your life versus not having these strengths in your life and what that would allow you to do. So let's talk about a couple character strengths in particular. So honesty is one that we're pretty familiar with. What's honesty? It's telling the truth. So to see how important character strengths are, let's just imagine two different scenarios. You've got a lemonade stand that you've set up in the summer with friends, and it's very successful, and you do a great business. And at the end of the day, though, it seems as if some money is missing. And as you look into it, one of your friends has taken some of the money from the group for him or herself, and try to imagine what that would do to the experience of the day. It had been a great day up until that point. You were thinking about doing it 4 days a week, making it a deal for the summer. Now there's infighting and the group probably doesn't function very well, and now the lemonade stand might not happen again, and you're mad at your friends and they're mad at you, and it's all bad. Why? Because somebody was dishonest. Now compare that to the opposite, where there is no dishonesty. Everybody's honest. People had opportunities to pilfer some money from the cash box, but nobody did. And so the lemonade stand lives another day, and it just goes on and on as a great thing you do with your friends. Or try to imagine with your family. Your parents let you stay out a little later than normal to be at a friend's house, but you come back late. And then you tell a fib about it, and your parents find out about the fib. Well, now they not only don't let you stay out late, they make you come in earlier than you used to have to come in. And there's this sense that they can't trust you anymore. And it just leads to this negative reaction and leads you not to be able to spend time with your friends, versus you do come home on time, or if you didn't, that you're honest about it, and then your parents think, well, I can trust you still. And so just notice the difference with the lemonade stand and just these little examples and fibbing about where you were or why you came home late. You see how honesty is important. It has effects whether you are honest or dishonest, whether your friends are honest or dishonest in how things go. Well, how does honesty work? Let's do a drill down. Well, healthy relationships are necessary to live well. Healthy relationships need trust to develop. If you don't trust somebody, you're probably not going to spend much time with them. If they don't trust you, the same. Honesty actually builds that trust, right? If somebody's repeatedly honest with you, you trust them more and more, and you can work with them more and more, and they can with you as well if you're honest with them. But dishonesty destroys that trust, right? Like, that's all it takes is some lies, and all of a sudden you can't work with these people anymore. They can't work with you, and this thing you could have built together and this relationship you could have had that would have been great isn't really possible anymore on the same terms. So let's pivot now to talk about another character strength, self-regulation, a very important one, especially for kids. Well, what's self-regulation? It's our ability to take care of our stuff and ourselves by ourselves, right? Especially managing our emotions and impulses. So imagine in class, there's a group of kids that don't come with their books, that interrupt the teacher, that blurt things out, that come into their head, that don't really have their act together well enough to make it to class on time. And think of all of the negative effects to the class and its ability to function of those kinds of behaviors. Compare that to when everybody does have their book, when everybody is on time, when people pay attention and don't interrupt each other, how well the class goes. Or in sports, if you're old enough to play organized sports, well, sometimes people say stuff to get under your skin in a game, like a soccer game or a basketball game. They talk trash, it's called. They say things to kind of get you upset and get you not at your best. Well, one way to react to that is to lose your cool, maybe push somebody or kind of get in a fight. You draw, a technical foul that hurts the team, and the other team ends up winning because you got put on the bench and right? That would be not self-regulating. Self-regulating would be the opposite, would be, okay, I see what they're doing. Yes, I'm upset, but I'm not going to react. I'm not going to give in. You stay in the game. You don't foul. They realize that it's not working what they're doing with you, and you do well by your team and yourself, and you guys pull through and win the game. So self-regulation is, I've got this impulse to do X, but you realize that X isn't the best thing to do. So you catch yourself, stop, and you think, what is the thing I should do? And you do that. That's self-regulation. So let's talk through sort of formally how it works. Well, healthy social environments require that people behave in ways that respect the other people in the group and the norms of behavior for the group. It's a fact about life that people often have strong emotions and impulses. We all do. Nothing wrong with that. It's just sometimes those emotions and impulses can be destructive if they're not controlled. And self-regulation sort of notices those impulses, judges which ones are add positive energy to a group versus are destructive to what a group's trying to do, and it doesn't let those negative impulses turn into bad behaviors. So why do character strengths matter? Well, first, they help us stay positive and productive in the face of adversity when things are going wrong, right? We stay strong. We keep our eyes on the prize of doing right and living well and enjoying our lives and being productive. And we're aware that there are these problems that are encroaching, but we rise to the occasion, we overcome them. That requires character strength. They also help us, in particular, work effectively in groups where it's so important that people are respected and people respect us. We respect them. So there's certain kinds of behavior that are necessary in those groups so that they function well and we can enjoy the benefits of them functioning well. And that means you have to respect the norms that make those groups work. And finally, looking towards your adult life, they get you the right habits so that you can actually live a great life as an adult, which is what so much of education is about. You're preparing yourself to really succeed and thrive as an adult, where you're going to be spending most of your time probably taking care of other people. That's what most adults do. Their families, their friends, their coworkers, their clients, their churches and synagogues and temples and civic organizations and friend groups, and it's like that's what adults do. So if you're courageous and you're humble and you're curious and you're passionate and like you're honest, like all of these qualities, if you have them, they really help you care for other people and enjoy your life. And if you don't have those qualities, it's just really hard to do. Try to imagine being a good parent if you don't have empathy, if you can't feel with your kids. Like that would be really hard to do. So empathy is a skill. It's like a tool in the toolbox that helps you be the adult you want to be. So how do we form character strengths? Granted, we see what they are and why they're good. How do we form them? Well, they're habits, and this is tricky because if you are lacking a certain character strength, it's actually challenging to build it because your old habit's going to be pulling you in a different direction. Remember, character is a habitual way of responding to the world. It's doing the right thing at the right time in the right way for the right reason again and again and again, and laying down sort of new tracks for your behavior that lead you to do the best thing rather than something else. So breaking bad habits in particular requires discipline. It requires you to think about it because your first reaction, if you have a bad habit, is not going to be to do the best thing. So you have to catch yourself. You have to have structures in place, ask people to help you, try to imagine like just how hard it is to do your homework without your phone around, but you could do it, right? You could have maybe one of your parents keep your phone away from you, or there's ways to address that issue if you want to, but it takes discipline. And so here are some takeaways from the presentation. If you'd like to pause it here and talk about these things or have a little quiz, that's what this last slide is for.